It's all gone completely wrong, basically. Everything has gone wrong in a second. Welcome back to the channel. We're Dan and Stephen, and since 2021 we've travelled, lived and worked in our little 1996 VW T4 Swift camper van. We recently headed over to Europe, travelled through France and into Spain. This week, however, a sudden accident puts our travel plans on hold, but one which unexpectedly leads us to the perfect retreat at the foot of the Sierra Nevada mountains. So sit back, relax and come along dear. Good morning. So we've left the desert today. I'm not going to wax lyrical about that anymore because we said enough, but that was spectacular. However, when we were leaving, we did see two men seemingly putting up a sign at the front, and obviously the first thing that went through our heads was, is this going to be another no overnight parking sign? It'd be a shame if it was, because it's such a good spot, but c'est la vie. It's not unusual, is it, at the moment? But yeah, anyway, we're heading into somewhere close to Almeria because poor Daisy's got a sore throat, so her exhaust is definitely on the turn of where it's feeling worse for wear.
She sounds like she smokes 100.
Yeah, she sounds like she smokes 100 a day, as Stephen just said. When we left England, it wasn't perfect, but we were kind of told it would probably be alright probably until for the best part of a year. But as it turns out, in the last few days it's got pretty bad, and she sounds really noisy, bless her. 10 minutes down the road there is a local camper van place. They do renovations and all sorts of other bits and pieces. It's called YoCamper. Is it YoCamping? YoCamper? YoCamper, near Almeria. And I've read some good things, so fingers crossed. Whether they can do exhaust or not, I don't know, but they did say so in the message, so let's just see how it goes. Where are we, Stevie? We're in Abla. We're in Abla. Well, it's a little village called Montagon, I think. Montagon. And it's just outside of the bigger town called Abla. So after today, we didn't film much because batteries were running low and stuff like that, but basically we went to this place, YoCamping, put the name down there, and they sorted our exhaust for us. It was brilliant. They didn't replace it. What they did is patch it up, so they didn't replace it because they didn't have the parts, and that's absolutely fine. All we really wanted was a little patch up, really. They've welded it. They were lovely people, really friendly, and it's been amazing, to be honest, because although she still sounds a little bit rattly, it sounds a lot better than it did, and hopefully it'll just be enough to get us back. So yeah, can't recommend them enough. Right, so we parked up in this little area. We literally fast forwarded from this morning where we dropped off the van to the camper. Did we even film that? I can't even remember. I think we just filmed us on the way there. So YoCamper, really lovely people. They were extremely helpful. Basically, we messaged them on Instagram on Sunday night and kind of said, you know, sorry for messaging in English. We didn't know if we should translate it first, but we did send it in English. Explained about our exhaust problem and if they could fit us in and have a look, or even if they did exhaust. Well, they replied on the Sunday when I'm presuming they were shut, and they said, yep, just come along 10 o'clock Monday morning, which was brilliant. And then they said yes, of course, which meant yes, they do exhausts. And we turned up. Now, when we turned up, it was just outside Almeria, and there were tons of it was a little street just off the roundabout, and there were tons of vans and motorhomes waiting there. So we kind of panicked, thinking, oh god, you know, are we going to get in? What's going to happen? Is it going to be carnage? But as it turned out, I think us having sent that Instagram message really worked. So if you ever do need help with something with your van or motorhome, YoCamping are pretty good, or YoCamper, I'm really sorry, I can't remember exactly, but YoCamper. But I'd recommend messaging them on Instagram first, because it's just a good way to start communication and potentially book something in. I don't know if all the other vans were booked in, but I got the impression that they weren't, and they'd all just turned up Monday morning with problems. So it really benefited us to say, look, this is it. They knew who we were. We handed over the keys, and then we went walking for a few hours because they needed it for most of the day, obviously, because they had other work on. So yeah, really happy. That's our first real blip in terms of stuff happening since we've been out here, but we've managed to kind of fix it, or at least temporarily remedy it, which is good. And I'm just rambling now. We're just in this beautiful place in Montagon, I think it's called, just outside of Abla, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's some toilets, there's a little park, there's little fountains going. I want to go out and explore, but I'm tired, I'm absolutely knackered, so I probably won't. I might do that tomorrow morning. And on that note, bye. So when we were walking into Almeria today, we've actually walked for miles. We dropped the van off at YoCamper at 10 o'clock and we picked it up at 4, and we've done nothing but walk ever since. We stopped to eat for about half an hour, but other than that it's been constant walking, so it's just been miles and miles. I was just taking a walk into the little town / village, gonna pick up some beers and then head back to the van and just have a few beers and chill out, to be honest. Got some dinner and that's about it. But I can't tell you, we just found this last minute. It's so beautiful, and it was one of those spots on Park for Night, but to be honest, sometimes people just say things and they don't really say how nice an area is, and maybe there's reasons for that, I know that. In fact, it was a lot of moaning, but it's absolutely outstanding. You probably feel like we're in the proper rural Spanish territory now, which is really nice. And get some beers, head back to the van, and that's it. I think I'm just repeating myself, so I'm going to shut up now because I want to get back before it's dark as well. So we're just staying up. I think I'm pointing in the right place. That's a little village up there, Montagon I think it's called, and there's a free air that you can stay in, and the free air is it's got water like they tend to do, waste, and it's in a beautiful little spot where there's benches and you can have picnics and things like that. And it's just a stark reminder of, like, there's nothing like that in the UK. So I imagine we've never had this experience yet because this is the first time we've been abroad, but I imagine coming back to the UK is always a bit of a shocker when suddenly you go from these things, which is easy to take for granted, to suddenly being glad when you found a lay-by you can stay in the UK. So yeah, I'm very grateful to the country for allowing these spots and trying to manage it, basically, which I think is key.
The next morning we headed towards Granada, stopping on the way to fill up our LPG gas tank, which isn't the easiest thing to source despite several websites online, and can be quite a daunting thing to use until you've done it a few times.
So we've just left this little village to find a new spot, and it's all gone completely wrong, basically. Everything has gone wrong in a second. We tried to go up a hill and heard a scrape on our water tank. And then even worse, when Stephen was trying to reverse back, a car was coming down and we didn't see something. He's just gone slightly into the wall. Because it was a weird angle, it was really difficult. And now I don't know what we're going to do. We've literally just got 2 problems out of nowhere. Oh. So our rear light is smashed. The bumper's come off in places. And I'm not going to show underneath, it's only a little drip, but our water tank has definitely caught something and appears to be leaking because we heard the scrape. We thought the hill was durable, but it isn't.
Like that.
What do we do?
I think the only thing we can do for now, we need to find somewhere to take her. So
Granada's not far, so there must be garages there.
Yeah.
Are you able to drive like that? Are you even allowed? Is it even legal? Do we have to call someone?
no, I think I can drive. I just need to make sure it's. I just need to secure it.
How are we going to do that?
Well, this won't come off, I don't think, because it's attached to the light, so it's being held off.
Oh my god. All the time in the UK this has never happened. We've had a few bumps and scrapes but nothing major, and now we're here in Spain, some little village. Granada's not far, I don't think, but like after we had our diesel, our exhaust patched up yesterday as well, you know, everything was looking good, and we've just had this double whammy of 2 things, one after the other. This is where us being clueless and not knowing how to sort things is going to be really apparent, so fingers crossed we can get something done. I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. Do we ring somebody? What do we do? We are insured out here. Ultimately, it has happened now, so whatever happens, there's no point stressing, there's no point doing anything. All we can do It's just work on getting it fixed. There are many garages. This will be fine. I don't think the cost is going to be fine. Happy days. So that was the road we came out of, and we tried to turn around to go up there. That's where the sat-nav took us, and it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't even look that steep, and I swear we've been up steeper, but for some reason we caught on something there, and look, you can see where our water tank's gone. Like, everything's going to be leaking now. Then a car came, so Stephen reversed back, but unfortunately it's gone into the walls. Okay, so here's the Blue Peter job. Holding it in place until we get to a garage, which we better sort now.
Once we got moving again, we stopped by a motorhome repair place just outside Granada, who, although couldn't help us directly, were incredibly helpful and put us in touch with a garage nearby who could.
Yeah, so we stopped in that little place I just showed you, just by sheer coincidence off the motorway. And we were just randomly, frantically looking at garages that might be open or do repairs or whatever, and motorhome places, and we found this place. They're a motorhome. They'd sell second hand. Sorry, I'm rambling. I just feel really nervous and all over the place. But they sell second hand motorhomes. I think they sell new ones, but they do repairs on all kinds of things as well. Anyway, we turned up. They were really helpful. A couple of them spoke English, which was really great. And at first it wasn't looking too good because they're booked up, so they couldn't do the work themselves. But what they did was they rang around to find other places that could do the work, and the bumper can't be repaired, but can't be replaced, but what they'll do is they know somebody who can repair it. And the light, they said, would be difficult because of the age and the model of our van. But again, the guy, so helpful, rang around, and he spoke to somebody who can order the part for our lighting and do the bumper work and the light replacement for next week. So how amazing is that? You know, they're going to phone us back tomorrow with a price, so we still don't know how much it's going to cost or anything like that, but it's looking very good. It means we're going to have to hang around this area for a week if we do get it done. I'm assuming we will. Hopefully it won't be extortionate for what it is, but you know, you don't know. This has never happened to us before. But I just want to say, whatever happens from this point on, these people have been amazing. They've tried to help. They can't do the work themselves, but they know people that can, and they really try to help us. Absolutely incredible. So I'd fully recommend them if you're ever in the area and need help with your camper van or motorhome for other stuff. So although their own work is booked up, they're more than willing to go that extra mile to help you anyway, which is brilliant. They didn't just say, no, sorry, bye. You know, it was wonderful. On that note, we need to find somewhere to sleep, because that's it. We haven't eaten all day either. Time to go and park somewhere.
So we went on the hunt for somewhere to lay down our heads for the night, which turned into several nights, and came across a picturesque village called Nigüelas at the foot of the Sierra Nevada mountains.
I think we deserve a beer in the sun, don't you? We'll have one for Daisy as well.
Well, no, we don't deserve any beer for being so silly.
No, we don't deserve it, you're right. We're just going to do it anyway. We were saying this earlier, you know, obviously there were things there that were our fault, but when you're travelling in a vehicle all the time, the odds of something happening are inevitably higher, and it seems to happen to everyone at some point, and sometimes it's horrific and worse, a lot worse than what's happened. So let's count our blessings so far. We've still probably got a problem with the water tank because there's a bit of a leak, but I don't know, it seems to have stopped. I don't think we're going to worry about that for now. So after yesterday's little nightmare, I think we explained to you that we found somewhere that might be able to fix it, and basically today is a day of waiting for a call to see A, if they can definitely do it, and B, how much it's going to cost. Sort of early mid-afternoon at the moment, and we haven't heard anything yet, but fingers crossed we will. They work till quite late, so you know, we might not hear till later in the day. So we're in a little village. We drove about 20 minutes from this place just outside Granada, and we're in a little village called, I think it's called Nigüelas, and it's on the western side of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. So it's not quite in the mountains, but it's just on the cusp of it.
And so our plans have been scuppered for a bit, but it's not the end of the world. You know, worse things happen in life, in the world. It's not worth crying about. Obviously it's just a bit of a worry that, you know, the cost isn't ideal, whatever it's going to be, especially after we've just paid for the exhaust to be patched up. And we do kind of worry because where we hit the light and dented it, you know, if there's any other damage, you know, because our gas is near there, and the gas seems to be working fine, but it just I don't know, it just makes you worry, and I don't know how we can check that. We might have to get somebody to look it over. There doesn't appear to be any leaks. It's functioning fine. The fridge is on with the gas, the cooker works with the gas, but it's just very close to the bone, isn't it? You don't know when you hit something if it's going to have a domino effect, or at least a slight domino effect. Oh yeah, of course. And we still have the little problem of our water tank, which we're ignoring, because I might have a look under the van in a minute, because it didn't seem to, it seemed like we lost a lot of water or something, but then when we reversed backwards, it's like we didn't, you know, and it was just little drips. So there's definitely something not right, and we heard it scrape. I don't know how much the damage is. So yeah, there's that to contend with, but maybe we'll deal with that when we get home. I don't know. In Spain, it's been really easy to find places to fill up with water, which is great. It's fantastic. And because we've got 3 or 4 large bottles of water, we're quite happy to just fill them up. It's no different. You know, we can still use our drainage, our sink. It's just not using the tap. So we can get by. In some ways, it's a lot easier. Oh, are you coming for a hike, Steve?
No.
Oh, why not?
Don't want to.
Oh, but you love hiking. You said it makes you feel wonderful inside, and
I know, but there's just got to be balance, isn't there?
Yeah.
You can't just go hiking every day.
you do a lot of walking, to be fair.
Yeah, that's why my legs are short.
They've just worn away.
Yeah.
Well, I'll leave you to your...
I might have a kip.
I'll leave you to your kip, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good, actually. Siesta.
Yes. I'll have a siesta.
In fairness, after yesterday, I wouldn't want to be driving either, so, you know, or doing... It's a bit demotivating, you know, it doesn't make you want to do much, so for me, I want to go and take my mind off it, because otherwise I'll go mad, whereas Stephen can easily sleep, and that will take his mind off it even more than what I'm doing. So we've both got our remedies, and we'll just wait around and see what happens. Nigüelas is a quintessentially Spanish village, close to Granada and situated in a valley at the foot of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Its charm lies in the sheer variety on offer here for such a peaceful place, a real feast for the senses, as well as the scenic views and the many walks available at lower altitudes or up into the soaring peaks. There are acres of rolling hills and fields, full of olive trees and other produce. And feeding it all is an ancient waterway system that dates back centuries to Moorish times, a simple aqueduct that delivers water in a fast-flowing channel from high above and down into the valley below. It was a dream place to park up, one that felt like the very essence of Spain, its culture and history. So this is the gully we've been following all the way from the village, and at this point here it actually divides. So from further up, wherever the water's coming from, one of the rivers, the gully to the right here I believe goes down into the valley, and the gully obviously to the left of me is the one down to the town. So apparently it's quite a feat of engineering, especially because it's something that's gone on for centuries. Again, don't quote me on that, but that's my understanding. Clearly it's been updated, but the actual fundamentals of it are still the same, I think. So that's pretty amazing, and especially good because obviously in a water-starved area, you know, the fact they've managed to separate the water out is probably quite important. The question is, do I just go back or go to another route? Or do I head up into these quite terrifying looking mountains to some level and see how I get on? What are we gonna do? Okay, I think this is definitely the point where I decide what I'm doing here, because I'm not really feeling this. Not scrambling today. It's very hot and I'm pretty hungry as well. And this is just going up and up and up. There's still a path, which is good. But I don't know how questionable it gets. I mean, I'm happy enough with that, to be honest. All of this is incredible. I can't ever get bored of these rocks. That rusty colour. So very different to back home, you know. So even if I go back now, it still feels like a satisfying hike, because I feel like I've seen quite a lot. Hang on, there's a road. There's a bloody road. All this time I've been trekking up here and there's a bloody road that leads to the top. I'm not sure how I missed it, to be honest. I must have come up another side or something. Oh well, still fun. I don't know how far it goes, but I'm going to follow it for a little bit. Oh my god, I'm knackered. I brought a banana with me in a satsuma for the sugar, but that's about it, plus some water. And I'm quite far and already a little bit hungry again, so I'm going to cut my losses and go back on this one. To be honest, this has still been another memorable hike. It's been incredible. I keep saying it, but if you enjoy this sort of thing, then every bloody hike's incredible, isn't it, in its own way? But this is scenery I've never seen before, this style of gorge. Going up this way, you head up further into the Sierra Nevada mountains, and by the looks of it, this actual track seems to go on for miles, so I don't know if it takes you all the way in or not. On another day, if I'd left earlier and I was feeling it more, I might do it, but I think you're looking at a whole day trek from the village we're in anyway. So up there, where you can see the snow, you get to the start of where it gets to the real peaks, you know, the 2,000, 3,000 peaks. And I'm not feeling that today. I'm not prepared enough, I didn't bring enough food. And yeah, no, it's beat me today, but you just know when to cut your losses and be like, I've done enough, you know. And that is the village which I walked from, so we're still pretty high up. It's so peaceful as well. I've seen a few people hiking, but hardly anyone, to be honest. There's just sense of space, you know. You know when you go walking in an English national park, you know, you always bump into someone, don't you? Like they feel big at the time, but it's not until you come to places like this that you realise actually they're so much smaller. And somewhere like this even though it's well known, it's quite well populated and visited, it still feels vaster, and therefore the ability to kind of lose yourself. Whereas you go to like the Peak District and everybody's walking up the same hill, it's almost like, you know, there's more people up some of the hills than in a high street. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable.
Sleeping Beauty, I guess. Oh no, hang on. Is Sleeping Beauty awake? What's with the toe out the door? Morning. Alright, so little update on today. We're still in this little village. What's it called, Stephen?
Limbo Land.
Limbo Land. Nigüelas. Oh crap. Nigüelas, I think it's called. Just on the edge of the Sierra Nevada National Park. And yeah, this has been a perfect place to stay, but to be honest, the only reason we've been here is because obviously the issues with the light. So just to bring you up to date, we haven't heard anything yet. We're still waiting for a call. We didn't hear yesterday from the company that said they were waiting on a quote. So we phoned them about 6 o'clock in the evening and they said no, we hadn't forgotten, they were still waiting, they will get back to us. So what we're doing really is we're just staying put for as long as we can, until we hear anything, because we don't really know where to move. We don't really know where the person who's fixing it is based either. So we know it's in Granada somewhere, but it's quite a biggish area, so we kind of staying put until we know more. Stephen's sort of fashioned a few little bits. He's changed the indicator bulb, which is great because we had spare ones of those, so he's changed the actual bulb, but of course because the actual casing of the light is completely smashed, you still wouldn't be able to see it. So the indicator, which was making funny noises, now isn't, because he's changed the bulb, which is great. But we were thinking of getting like just some kind of see-through orange film like you get round a Lucozade bottle or something, and then just taping it on, just so when we move and we indicate, somebody behind us can actually see that we're indicating. Obviously, you know, very DIY, do-it-yourself Blue Peter job, but I think it's pretty ingenious if it works, to be honest.
It's the only way to attempt to safely get her to the garage.
Yeah, it's just to make sure it's a bit more roadworthy. I mean, you know, what else are you supposed to do? But that's why we're staying put and not moving around. Stephen understandably doesn't want to be driving it, and I don't know what the legalities are around things like this, but we don't want to be moving around with a smashed light like that you can't see. So if anyone here sort of questions it, it's a big enough place, so hopefully it's all right. But we would just say, look, we're really sorry, but we're just waiting on this. But I don't think there's any problems here. But other than that, it has been a lovely little place to stay, and a good little Spanish village to get lost in and make you forget about these problems. And we're going to go to the shop now and maybe go to the bakery.
So we went for a wander in a place that would become our home for the next few days, and hopefully, as you've seen, there are certainly worse places to be stuck. We stopped in the local bakery and picked up some supplies before making some more calls. Thank you for watching our channel, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. Join us next week as we hit the historic city of Granada.
Things are moving, so that's good. A couple of things have happened today. But we can't sit here forever because we'll probably get moved on in the end, which is unfortunate because it's very nice. But Stephen's right. A beer is the answer. Go on then, get us a beer.
Gotta go to the shop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, beer is definitely the answer tonight. I'm not saying it always is. Sometimes it is.
It is.